Yo, how's it going? Flexinja here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about all the Valorant changes happening to the game. I mean, there's a ton of changes happening, and overall, it's a huge W from Riot Games. I typically don't make videos like this. However, I just think after playing the game for 5 years, this might be the top 3 patches to the game of all time. Before we jump into the agent changes, let's watch the patch 11.08 gameplay update video that Valorant uploaded. This has a lot to unpack, so I'll keep pausing it and explaining things as I go. So yeah, let's jump right into it.
With me. Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
So in that first clip, you can see that you can shoot the Vyse flash now when it's activating, which I think is a little crazy. Usually on the live patch right now, when you Vyse flash, once it's activating, you can no longer flash it. You just have to turn it. So Vyse got another nerf. You'll see later in the video, Vyse got hammered with a lot of nerfs this patch. I mean, a lot of agents got changed this patch, so keep watching.
Nice, smoking heaven's great stuff.
One heaven. They killed Wingman. I'll go plant.
Everybody's going elbow. Watching elbow.
Default.
Breach blasting screens.
So in this clip, there's the paranoia change in this video. There's the breach alt change, and there's stun changes overall that's happening to Valorant, and it'll further kind of break down into this video.
Nice.
Yeah, some of that side hit kind of looks different than what you're used to right now. So we're making a ton of changes with the launch.
It doesn't look entirely different until they actually break it down, but they're going to get to that in a second. I can also further break it down, so let's continue.
Of Act 6 and patch 1108. We see each year of Valorant kind of like a journey. You adapt to new metas and achieve new things. So throughout the year, we monitor and course correct, but sometimes there's larger directional shifts that we need to take, and this is when we do it.
We think these changes will force players to think more carefully.
Valorant players don't think to begin with, let's be real. I mean with the nerf to all the utility that's happening, it will cause Valorant players to have to think more, which is an insane thing. It's an insane feature.
And intentionally about when and how they use the utility to take a site on attack or to play for retakes on defense.
In those high intensity moments, things have changed for the better. Players will find that they can rely on their gunplay more in these situations, and
I mean, this is the greatest change of all time. Like, relying on your gunplay and attack shooter instead of just util spam. I mean, oh my god, Tens might come back to pro play.
when abilities are impacting combat, you're going to find more opportunities to outplay your opponents.
Let's take it back to the split A side clip so we can take a deeper dive into what we just saw.
Vyse, as well as some of our other Sentinels, have been adjusted to encourage more active commitments to holding a site from attackers. Sentinels will need to think a little bit more carefully about when and where they play off their own utility.
On the other
True.
side of the equation,
Okay, so this is the first change with Breach ultimate reduction size. Like, it goes from 23 meters to 18.
we're reducing the size.
It's not like a huge change. You definitely have to be more precise with the Breach ult, but it's significant enough where you don't have to like you actually have to think about using it now instead of just like having it cover the entire site, which I think is overall a W change for Valorant.
Of some site-wide ultimates, and also increasing the distance where you can see.
Okay, this is the Omen paranoia change that was like shown in the beginning of this video. Overall, the near site change that's happening, this happens to what? Fade Dog, Sky Ultimate, Reyna Eye, as you can see under where it says near site radius. Overall, this is an amazing change. I think near site is a little overpowered, so this is a fantastic welcome change. I know it kind of nerfs Omen, but overall, I think it's healthy for the game.
When you're actually hit by a near site debuff.
We're also tuning our rifle sprays to make them a bit more predictable when spraying and transferring targets.
I mean, isn't that just beautiful? They're making the first bullet accuracy for the first few bullets on like rifles more clean, which is amazing for like transferring and stuff. I love it.
Target.
And you won't spend as much time blocking.
Okay, now they lowered the stun duration too for like pretty much every stun in the game. They did it for the Neon stun, Breach stun, Deadlock stun, Wingman stun, and the first one is Astra stun, I think. Yeah, all 5 of those. Amazing.
Or concussed when you're hit by debuff abilities, but you need to act quickly before your window of opportunity is closed. Last but not least, we're updating a couple of our maps. Let's start with Abyss. We're changing the cover on B site to make planning for B main riskier and make playing on the site better for both sides of spike diffuse situations. We think the extra cover gives defenders a better setup to hold and also provides safer options for attackers in the.
Okay, I'm excited for these map changes. I do go over these map changes more in depth later into the video,
post-play.
But overall,
We're also
really
making
welcome
some adjustments
changes.
to mid that'll provide more options to team who want to fight around that side of the map.
And we're shaking up Pearl with some changes to B site, specifically aimed at B long post plant holds to give you more options to hold on site. We want to encourage players to take fights closer to the spike and put their bodies in the line a bit more.
I think this is an amazing change, what they mentioned here. A lot of the things that you're changing on Pearl and Abyss, usually what happens is like, you'll take site easily, you'll plant the bomb in an easily spammable spot and just play off site. You'll just basically just leave site altogether. And now retake is just so boring and it's so unfair. Yeah, so I think these changes to bomb sites is just really welcome for Valorant, and hopefully it just plays out better.
And that's everything for maps. But we do have one more exciting thing we want to share. You're gonna have to wait for patch 11.10.
Okay, I mean that's the Harbor rework. I mean they've already teased out Harbor's getting reworked. I actually can't wait for Harbor rework because he's actually fun to play. I out of all the controllers besides Omen, I think he's the second most fun for me. Yeah, I like that he's not the greatest agent. I think that's what gravitates me to him. He's not the greatest pick, but you can make him work and have fun with him. So I actually can't wait for his rework. Okay, and that's the end of the 11.08 patch video. Let's jump into all the agent changes. So let's just jump right into it. Let's talk about the Omen changes. Omen, I mean, we saw this coming. He's the #1 pick in VCT. He definitely needed a little nerf. And I think this is the perfect nerf for him. His dark cover cooldown increased from 30 seconds to 40 seconds. So basically, before you could throw like 5-6 smokes around, depending on how long the round lasted. Now you're going to have to like be more mindful of when you throw your smokes, which is perfectly fine. I think this is a great change. And there's a lot of cooldowns being increased across the board for like every single agent. And it's not just Omen, so this is overall not even a crazy nerf. Alright, moving right along, we get the paranoia travel distance decrease while the speed increased. I mean, this might be my favorite change to Omen in recent times because right now, his paranoia is so painfully slow that if you even try to use it as a skill shot and try to go for an aggressive play, chances are you're not even going to hit your blind. You're going to TP out into the open and no one is blinded and now you're just sitting there and the enemy is not blind, just looking at you and you're dead. Almost every single time. So while the distance is decreased, I'm so happy that the speed is increased. I don't know how much distance the decrease will be, but the speed increase is always welcome. Hopefully it's fast enough to notice it, and it's not just like one of those placebo things, but overall, W change. Paranoia near sight changes where the enemies who are near sight can see you further now, from 5 meters to 7 meters. Honestly, this change is fine. This affects all near sights, by the way. This is just also Reyna near sight, and this is also Fade Dog near sight. So basically, if you get nearsighted now, you can see 2 meters more, which overall I think is a great change to the game. Because nearsight is one of those things where it kind of deafens you as well as it does, like, you know, hinder your ability to see past a certain distance. So I think going from 5 to 7 is fine. I mean, this is a fine change. I don't think there's anything too crazy with it. So yeah. And also, like I mentioned before, the nearsight nerf doesn't only affect Omen blind. It affects Reyna's flash, like Fade Dog, and any other agent that is going to have a nearsight in the future. This is what the before and the after look like for the near sight changes. Here it is again one more time so you don't have to pause the video. Alright, so moving along, I made my webcam a bit smaller so you can read all the text on the screen instead of staring at my face. I do think it's more valuable for a video like this to just, you know, see what's happening on the screen here. So all the initiators are being nerfed. Their signature recharge times will be increased from 40 seconds to 60 seconds. So what this means for the entire game is that, I mean, there's going to be less utility flying out. You're going to have to think more of what utility to use at a certain time. So basically at the start of a round, if Sova, you know, goes to recon dart within the first 2 seconds, instead of waiting 40 seconds to get it back, you have to now wait 60 seconds, a full minute to get that recon dart back. This is just a beautiful change for Valorant. I mean, the reason why Tens quit pro play, like he said, is because there's too much utility spam in the game and it's becoming toxic to play. So hopefully, with changes like this to come in the future, with less utility spam, Tens comes back to pro play. We can only hope. I'm very happy with these changes because it's going to make the game feel more tactical overall. It's going to give it more of a Counter-Strike feel to it. It's going to be annoying to deal with op crutches, I will say, with less utility. But overall, less utility being spammed in a game like this is just so welcoming. It's actually just so needed. So Viper is getting hit with another nerf. Honestly, any Viper nerf is very welcome because as an Omen main, I just don't like seeing Viper. I mean, that's just I'm a little biased, I can't lie. Instant DK when touching her smoke is reduced from 30 to 10. I think that's a great change because a lot of her utility, I mean, every piece of utility decays you in some way, shape, or form. If you touch her wall, her orb, her ultimate, you instantly get decayed by 30, and if you touch her snakebite, you lose HP, and also it makes you take double damage. I mean, this is overall a great change because even if you spend like 10 seconds in the Viper ult, you're already 1 HP. So I think the instant DK is a little too much, and I think this is a very valuable change. Alright, I'm having a tough time trying to hide my smile because Yoru is getting changed. He's getting nerfed. Basically, his fake out and blind duration is being decreased from 2 seconds to 1.6 seconds, so a slight nerf on his flashes. I honestly don't think it changes much. I think his flashes will be still strong. They fixed off-screen flashes to behave the same as initiator flashes. What I think this means is that sometimes Yoru flash will be off your screen entirely, but you'll still get full flashed. So it'll fix that sort of bug that happens. I'm pretty sure it is a bug because I don't think it was ever intended for Yoru flash to like full blind you when it's entirely off your screen. So hopefully that fixes things. This is the big one. This is what makes me really happy. Yoru gets his ultimate a lot, and he can no longer cast blindside, his blinds, and his decoy when using his ultimate. I think this is an amazing change. He has too much pressure when he has ult, and he gets his ult, like I mentioned, a lot. He gets all this information for his team to push up. He creates all the space, on top of being able to flash for his team, use his decoy. I think there's just too much going on with his ultimate. I think it's overloaded. It's gonna suck for the YouTube community that plays Yoru, like ZipTie. It's gonna really, really suck. And yeah, let's see what ZipTie has to say about it. This is a reaction from ZipTie. It's a very sad hippo regarding the Yoru changes. And then I replied, as an Omen main, I feel you, brother. And then I said, wrong gif. Terrible day. Terrible day. He said, the first one was right cooking up these notes. By the way, I got ratioed. I mean, true. I mean, this is Riot Games right here. When it comes to nerfing Yoru for ZipTie and everyone else, unlucky. So Neon is getting a nerf as well. I think Neon is very strong right now. So Neon can sprint longer but regenerates fuel slower. I think this is a good balance. Neon players just kind of run it down in general. Sprinting longer in the beginning of each round I feel like is kind of a buff, but we'll see how this plays out. Relay Bolt concuss duration reduced from 3.5 seconds to 2.5 seconds. So 1 less second on the stun, which I think is amazing. I didn't even know it stunned for 3.5 seconds. I think that's broken. Reading the 3.5 seconds here for the first time, I think this is broken. I didn't even know it was 3.5. But 2.5 seconds seems like a more reasonable stun in my opinion. Honestly, it's a great day for Valorant. Alright, so Cypher got changed a little bit. His spy cam now acts like other util, where you get close and now reveals its position. This doesn't really change much because his camera is going to be like on a wall up high. This changes like scenarios maybe where you plant the spike and then some people will put the camera right on the bomb. Other than that, not too much changes there. Tripwires have been updated to provide more information towards the player. I'm not entirely sure what that means. So let's try to investigate what it means in the comments section. What could they precisely have updated to the tripwires that provide more information than the big yellow outline and a buzzer that says, yo, there's an enemy there? I'm not entirely sure too. Maybe similar to KO's knife where it'll say which agent tripped it. Maybe once they break it, it's going to activate the recon effect for when Cypher ult activates. I'm not entirely sure what this change means, but I mean, you can tell which agent is based off of the outline when they hit the trip. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what this change means. Yeah, we'll have to wait and find out. So, and just when you think Sage gets a buff and they're going to leave Sage alone, nope, Sage gets nerfed. I mean, probably one of the weaker sentinels in the game. I mean, Sage did just get a nice buff with the increased range on the wall and the ultimate, but they're taking her wall HP down from 800 to 600. So 200 less HP on the wall. It's not a crazy nerf. You'll still have the wall to delay. But it's just one of those things where it's like, did Sage really need it when there's like people like Killjoy, Cypher, Vyse, any other sentinel that's really strong in the game? Did Sage really deserve this? No. I mean, just poor Grim. Someone check up on him. So I think Vyse is getting a nerf as well. I mean, Seismic Chef retweeted this, and he is the one trick on YouTube that plays Vyse. So yeah, Razorvine's HP decreased from 40 to 20. All shootable util in this game, like KJ Turret and like Rain of Flash, I think is all getting a health decrease. So anything shootable is just getting less HP. Alt radius decreased from 32.5 to 26. I mean, that's a pretty sizable radius decrease on the alt. And alt activation time decreased from 3.4 seconds to 4.4 seconds. That is pretty insane. As an Omen main, I'm smiling because you can alt cancel a little bit faster. You don't have to like anticipate it. You have like a whole extra second to think about it. So that's good for me. I mean, but overall, Vyse is definitely overpowered in my opinion. It's just a little bit more overpowered than some agents, especially on certain maps. So this is some welcome changes. When the flash blinds someone, the line and sound effect that causes her to get information will no longer appear. I mean, that's a pretty big nerf, but I mean, there's a lot of other flashes that gather no information. I feel like Vyse getting information on her flash makes her sort of like an initiator sometimes. So this is a pretty good nerf too. I just think there's a lot of nerfs happening at once on Vyse, so we'll see what happens. Let's move past the agent changes and let's talk about the other changes happening in patch 11.08, including Pearl and Abyss changes. We'll go over that in a second, and small weapon changes and more. I think the small weapon changes is maybe like the Phantom nerf that they're talking about. I don't have too much detail about that yet, but I'm pretty sure the Phantom is getting nerfed along with some other weapons, such as like maybe the Stinger, the Outlaw, some other OP weapons. Who knows? Let's jump right into the map changes. Alright, let's go over Abyss B bomb site real quick. I mean, from first glance, there's like a million different changes. They added a cubby here towards like the left side of site where you go to plant. They added a cubby back site under heaven towards the bridge here. They added these two new boxes. One is you can't shoot through, one you can shoot through. They replaced the wooden bookshelf here that's spammable with a tall vertical steel box here that you can't shoot through. Heaven is completely different. You used to be able to go out left or right of heaven. This wall right here used to be like a little platform you can go on. That no longer exists, so you only have one option when you leave heaven now. Overall, I think this is a great change. I mean, they also changed the jump up here. This is a better close-up on the cubby backside under heaven. And yeah, they flipped the jump up. The jump up used to be by these flowers here, but now it's flipped onto the other side. Overall, I think these changes are pretty good for the site, and I can't wait to see how it plays out. Moving along, let's talk about the Abyss changes. This is the before, and this is the after. So basically, they moved the connector from A to B in mid up a little bit, so it makes mid, in my opinion, more valuable to hold, because right now I think Abyss plays out in a way where it's like people either go A and then they just rotate to B and they just don't even, mid is like barely touched. I feel like you can play an entire Abyss game without even touching mid. So I think moving the connector to B up more to make mid more like valuable space to hold, I think is way better for the game. It's going to play out better. And this is what it looks like before with the tunnel there. This is the live version right now, and this is what it looks like after. They removed the tunnel, and they added just a little corner here that you might have to clear as you, you know, Cypher's probably going to live here for the rest of his days, so be cautious of this corner. So overall, I think it's great changes. Alright, so Pearl B site got some changes, and I'm very happy because I can actually play Omen and smoke B long without there being a gap on the left or right of the smoke, because they added this. Let's call this a shed. They added this little shed here, which closes the gap a little bit more so that Omen can smoke now flush, and yeah, my teammates will never have to complain about there being a gap there anymore, which is amazing. They added two unshootable boxes here on the right side of the shootable box that's been here, and I think they made this longer, but yeah, this crossfire is gonna look like it's gonna look deadly. So like you can basically place someone behind this little pillar that you can shoot through, behind this box, behind this box. The triple crossfire might be insane, I can't lie. They added a cubby on the backside here, which is good for high. I mean, you're gonna have to take contact here. If you sit here and post plant, they can see you from link. But it's going to be something that they're going to have to clear you from like heaven, CT push, backhaul push. So yeah, this cubby is going to be good for post plant, in my opinion. Overall, some pretty W changes though. Alright, let's talk about the weapon changes. All I know so far is the SMG changes happening. The Stinger is getting nerfed and the Spectre is getting buffed. The Stinger, the spread is being reduced, but it crews faster. The recoil ramps more aggressively, total recoil unchanged. So basically what this means is you probably can't spray someone from a distance with the Stinger now and like kind of control the recoil and just like basically one tap obliterate them. Because right now on the live servers, the Stinger is so disgustingly overpowered for a gun that costs 1100 credits. And the time to kill is so fast, and the recoil is relatively easy to control. So yeah, I mean, hopefully this just changes it so it's no longer easy to like cross map one tap someone with the Stinger. Spectre's getting buffed, spread reduced tap efficiency increased, protected bullet count adjusted. Not sure what that entirely means, but horizontal recoil switch time increased. Someone down here asked Grok, and Grok says it means like the first few bullets might have like less recoil or something like that. So overall, I'm excited to see like the Spectre buffs, because the Spectre has been just outshined by the Stinger for so long, and I feel like the Spectre definitely has more room to be the better SMG now because it costs more. I feel like it should always be the better SMG because it costs more, but the Stinger's been king for so long, so I'm excited about these changes. Alright, so while editing this video, I found some more weapon changes that kind of popped up. So Phantom, Vandal, and Bulldog are getting some changes related to the recoil. Horizontal recoil switch time increased from 0.37 to 0.6. The chance to switch increased from 6% to 10%. Phantom and Vandal increased protected bullets by 2, meaning 2 extra bullets will no longer be affected by recoil. Overall, I think first bullet accuracy is very important, and something that in Valorant that kind of lacked is first bullet accuracy. So, I mean, this is a very welcome change, the increased protected bullets here. I'm excited to actually see and playtest that too. So that pretty much wraps up this entire video. I mean, if I missed anything, there'll be more information coming out this week. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about this update. What updates affect you the most and why? What do you guys think about the Omen update? Anything? I would like to have a discussion down below. So yeah, that's about it. Peace. Bye.